What's up, people? YouTube, this is here bringing you guys another video to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Modern Warfare 2. The official reveal, the gameplay reveal, all that happened yesterday, and I wanted to make a bunch of videos about this yesterday, but I just didn't really have my thoughts sorted on how I wanted to approach it. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos today, more than likely. This is going to be the first one. In the background, you can see the gameplay trailer that they showed, which I thought was a really well done trailer. It was kind of what you expect from a Call of Duty. Explosions, the characters we've all come to know and love, Price, Ghost, Soap, Gaz, a new operator, Alejandro, I believe is his name, from Spanish forces or something like that. And it's just your typical Call of Duty trailer that takes off 3 years after the events of Modern Warfare 2019, which I believe correlates with almost exact dates of now. So there was a mission in Modern Warfare 2019 that took place 2 days after the game had released then. So this game should be taking place around the same time period as we are currently experiencing. So true Modern Warfare. You know, a lot of this video is going to kind of talk about just the trailer itself and the little bit of information we've gotten. They've added swimming mechanics in a Modern Warfare game for the first time in ever. I don't think there's ever been a Modern Warfare title with swimming mechanics for the multiplayer. Obviously, there's been missions and campaigns where you're swimming, but apparently the water is going to play a huge role in the way that these games are going to play out. They've also made a lot of changes to the way that vehicles work, from the position of being the driver and being able to lean out the window and shoot in a full 360-degree direction, as well as getting out on top of the vehicle while the vehicle is still driving, and you don't have to, you know, worry about there being someone driving. And they've added a lot of fluidity to things, it seems. Also, you can repair vehicles at gas stations from one of the videos that I had seen, as well as change tires, because you can now shoot tires out. So there's a lot of depth in that realm, and I think that that is going to be specifically useful in Warzone 2, which, I don't think that a lot of the vehicle mechanics are going to be that important in Modern Warfare multiplayer, mostly just for Warzone, which I'm okay with that. I wasn't a huge fan of Warzone, to be honest. Like, I played a decent amount of it, had some fun with my friends, but it didn't draw me in the same way that other BRs have, and it didn't draw me in the same way that the multiplayer does. I'm hoping that that will be a little bit different with Warzone 2, because I really want to enjoy it. But going into more information in this trailer here, it looks like there are going to be a lot of missions very similar to Clean House from Modern Warfare 2019. And of all of my complaints that I have with Modern Warfare 2019, the campaign was great. I really liked the campaign. If I remember correctly, it's a little bit on the shorter end, but every single mission was high quality, and it is one of the best campaigns that we've had in a very long time. So Modern Warfare 2019's campaign is great. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. The multiplayer, I have high hopes for, just because what I've heard from other videos, as well as like Charlie Intel and things like that, it seems like they've taken a lot of notes from people's complaints in the previous year, specifically around map design. My two biggest gripes with Modern Warfare 2019 was the map design and the spawn system. They were atrocious, specifically the spawn system. But apparently we're getting two different types of maps, two sets. We're getting core maps, which are maps specifically crafted for that 6v6 traditional Call of Duty experience, as well as battle maps or battleground maps, something like that, which are basically going to be chunks of the Warzone 2 map turned into giant ground war maps, similar to how it was in Modern Warfare 2019. But from what I understand, they're going to be better crafted specifically for ground war. And the 6v6 maps, from also what I understand, is they're a lot smaller, a lot more contained, a lot cleaner, and I think that they're going to be more in line with what we expect when it comes to a traditional Call of Duty experience in multiplayer. Because I think that most people can agree, with the exception of maybe Search and Destroy, the maps in Modern Warfare 2019 were not good. I mean, come on, Piccadilly? Piccadilly was horrendous. And some of those maps I can't remember the name of, even though I put an unbelievable amount of time into that game, because all I tried to play was Shipment and Shoot House. There were a couple other DLC maps that came out down the line that weren't bad. Obviously, you know, Rust came back, and that map was fine. They also had... they had a couple of different maps that came out in DLC towards the end of that game's life cycle that were actually pretty decent. So I'm not too concerned about that aspect of the game in multiplayer. I think that they're going to do a good job with that, or at least better than Modern Warfare 2019. And then that's kind of where the bar is at for me. As long as it is better than Modern Warfare 2019 in a lot of ways, then I'm content. I just want there to be a lot less incentive on not moving, because that's all that Modern Warfare 2019 was don't move. Don't move, and you will be golden. And then people like me and a lot of the, I don't mean to call myself higher skilled, but a lot of the higher skilled players, they are rushing, they are running, they are gunning, or at the very least, they're very aware of their surroundings and how they're playing. And it's really frustrating when the developers make these maps and these lanes that are specifically meant to cater towards those players that are worse at the game, that are too scared to move because they know that they can't win those one-on-one gunfights with people who actually have thumbs. So as long as the maps don't cater to that too much, then I'm gonna be content with the multiplayer side of things. I'm also kind of interested to see how the whole battleground map system works, because, you know, they kind of said in the videos that I watched that they're made a little bit more for ground war. Like, the maps in Modern Warfare 2019 were just straight pulled from Warzone before Warzone had even released, so they weren't necessarily built to have ground war in mind. It was kind of an afterthought. So I'm really curious to see if I'm going to enjoy ground war a lot more now that these maps are going to be specifically crafted for these game modes. They haven't released the actual player count yet. I know that the core maps, they did say, are traditional 6v6, but they didn't say that that was all that was going to be there. I would not be surprised if some of the maps, they have the option to do larger playlists, like maybe it'll be 10v10 or 8v8, something like that, which I think a lot of people really do like that aspect of Vanguard. A lot of people don't like Vanguard. There are things about it that I don't like, but the ability to choose how many people are in your lobby, I think a lot of people want to see return. So I would be surprised if they don't have something like that there with the core maps. They're built for 6v6, but you can have more players on them, is my understanding. So they might not have the best spawns when you're playing on maps built for 6v6, which is understandable. As long as the spawns work the way that they're supposed to in the core modes. If I'm playing 6v6 and every 3 or 4 lives I am spawning in front of somebody else, that's just ridiculous. But that was a very common thing to experience in Modern Warfare 2019. Last thing that I want to talk about in this video that they kind of briefly mentioned, from what I can pick up on other people's videos, is that they discussed a lot of AI related things. They did a test apparently where there was 300 AI and 100 actual players on a map, and apparently it worked out fine. Now, I assume what they mean by on a map is either the Warzone 2 map or the DMZ or third game mode that we're getting. Map, something much larger, not a regular multiplayer map. But what's curious about this is, like, why are they testing this? Why are they testing AI compared to regular players? Apparently the AI is really good and fascinating now, so they react more similar to an actual person in dangerous situations. They know when to play their lives and to kind of like run away from scenarios and when to engage and things like that. And that's really interesting, and I'm kind of interested to see how that works. I really assume that this is going to mostly be about the campaign as well as the third game mode, which is supposed to be like DMZ or Call of Duty's take on Tarkov, which I'm very excited about because that just sounds really cool. So if that's where the AI or the bots or whatever kind of mostly come into play, then I'm content with it, and I'm curious to see how all of that works out. But that's everything I'm going to talk about in this video. I will have another video discussing the gunsmith that was briefly mentioned and talked about according to, you know, a few other people's videos, Prestigeiskey, Exclusive Ace, Driftor, people who kind of talked about the way that the gunsmith worked. I want to just kind of give my input on that, but I'm going to do it in a separate video because there's a lot of information to unpack there and a lot that I kind of want to address. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe for more content, and I am going to try my best to get more consistent content out here on the channel. Anyways, guys, deuces.